to this episode of Be Accountable. I'm Leanne Miley, the Executive Director of the Sovereign Stylist, and I'm joined today with our accountant, Rose Linder. Before we get started, I want to remind you to click the subscribe button to subscribe to us here on YouTube. So that way you won't miss out on any of the education we bring to you. So today we're going to talk about tax deductions. Let's just get started with what is a tax deduction and why are they important?
Tax deductions are exceptions to the rule when you're paying taxes on income. So for example, if you make $10 selling lemonade, but you had to spend $2 to get lemons to make lemonade, that would be a deduction because it is directly related to the revenue that you received.
Okay, so how do I know if I should take a standard deduction or an itemized deduction?
Okay, this is where I put in the standard caveat of I am not a CPA, and if I were, I would only be licensed in the state in which I live or practice. So there's 49 other states out there. I'm going to give you some good answers, some good information here, but you always want to double check with your CPA.
Okay.
So again, I'm sorry, what was the question? Just because.
How do I know if I should take a standard deduction or an itemized deduction?
So generally, if you're using software to do your taxes, what you'll do is you'll input everything, and then the software will be able to tell you whether you should itemize or if you should take the standard. Currently, the standard is really high compared to previous years. The Trump administration decided that it would cut down on a lot of itemized deduction shenanigans, I guess is what they wanted to say about it. And so they made the standard deduction for married couples $30,000 right now. It's pretty hard to beat that.
So that would mean, like, if you itemized, your total would have to come to more than $30,000?
Yes, in order for it to be financially beneficial for the taxpayer, yes.
Okay. Can you have too many deductions?
No, if they are real deductions, okay, so, there's going to be years when you have a profit, when you have a loss, people, again, Trump's in the news a lot, so I'm just going to kind of use him because he's been on everybody's mind. He had a $750 tax bill or something like that. There's many reasons for that. I'm not promoting or demoting the president. I'm just saying everybody saw this. This is what happened. There's several reasons that could have happened. None of which are tax fraud, but that doesn't mean there wasn't any. Just saying it could have been from previous year losses. It could have been from investments which lost money. It could have been from a lot of different things. So is there too many? No, but there is a caveat for how long you can roll over losses. You can only roll over losses about 3 years.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you're profitable on year 3.
What type of items do you need to claim depreciation on?
Things that are used over the useful life of more than 5 years. And there is also an IRS, I will get a link and I'll add it to the video, of items that are deducted and how long you have to deduct them. The IRS is very specific on what things you have to deduct and how long you have to do it.
So if I buy like a new fancy like salon chair or like barber chair that costs $5,000, I won't take just a $5,000 deduction. It'll be depreciated for so many years.
Well, in the past, there were also caveats, you could expense certain things right away if they were under a certain dollar amount and you had a certain dollar amount or less for that entire 3-year period. It's very specific. So you want to check with your CPA again, but the $5,000 you could probably write off. I'm talking more like buildings, renovations, vehicles, things that are going to last you, 10 years, 15 years. Yeah, 5,000 doesn't really, for, a person who's just starting out, that's a lot of money. And I totally understand that. And you want to be able to recoup that money tax-wise as soon as possible. And chances are you would be able to do that.
Can I claim continuing education cost via the lifetime learning tax credit?
Yes, if it's from an accredited university. So if you are taking re-up courses at your local cosmetology school, those would qualify. But if you're doing a webinar or you're buying an audiobook or you're getting some coaching, those are just what I call professional development. And those are just expenses. You can write those off directly off your bottom line. You don't need to use the educational credit for that.
Okay. This came from one of our members. I am self-employed and do not have to follow a dress code. Can I still deduct clothing as a business expense?
The answer is maybe. So if there's clothing that you buy that you wear or can wear conceivably out in public doing whatever rather than just at work, the answer is no. So there's a big reason why places like Target or Walmart will require khakis or dark dress pants, and then they provide you the shirt, or it's a deduction off your paycheck, because the shirt is going to be a deduction. You're not going to wear a Walmart shirt anywhere else, or a Target shirt, or whatever. Like if you're in a salon and you're an employee and your employer provides shirts with the name and all that, you're not conceivably going to wear that out drinking. But those black dress pants, those can go anywhere. So those are not a deduction.
Okay, so most likely the clothes that you're going to wear to the salon, especially if you're an independent stylist, you are going to be able to wear out and about in everyday life.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to be a deduction.
Right. Now, if you get shirts made, like let's say it's your salon and, you're the owner and, you don't require your staff to wear those shirts, but you want to wear them so that people know you're the owner, those you could just write off as far as a business expense.
So things that are like have a company logo on them.
If the company logo is non-removable, it's kind of, yeah.
Okay. Here's another one. Can I deduct liability insurance?
That's a state-by-state question. You really want to check with your CPA on that. As far as doing it as on a Schedule C, and again, a Schedule C is going to be way different than running like an LLC or an S Corp or something like that, because the liability is a little different. Chances are yes, but again, you want to check.
Okay. Can I write off my Spotify or iTunes subscription if I use it to play music in the salon?
Okay. It's going to depend on how much you use it there versus how much you use it in your personal life. So if you're there 50 hours a week but you actually use it 80 hours a week, you could conceivably write off 5/8 of it. But again, that's something you really want to think about before there's a point where something like that isn't even worth trying to calculate.
Okay. This one's kind of along the same lines. I use my personal phone for business purposes too. Like clients call me to set up their appointments. Can I write this off?
The short answer on that one is probably not, because it's not like the IRS publication I was reading just yesterday about that was that it's something that you're going to have regardless of whether or not you use it for that purpose. If you had a separate cell phone, like a separate prepaid cell phone with a separate prepaid plan just for that purpose, those expenses would be deductible.
Okay. How do I deduct mileage if I drive to do hair at an offsite wedding?
So you have to keep a log of your mileage. So you have to do start and ending mileage, and you have to calculate how long your normal commute is versus what you did for that special event. So if you are an independent contractor, you would conceivably be able to write that off. As an employee, you would not. That would be a normal considered work expense. But as an independent contractor, the calculation would kind of go, okay, I drove 100 miles round trip for this. My normal commute is 50 miles. I can deduct 50 miles at the standard federal rate, which right now is 57.5 cents a mile.
And I'll add that QuickBooks, it's a QuickBooks Self-Employed, the app for your phone has a mileage tracker, and there's only certain ones that you can use that the IRS accepts, like for logs, and they are one that you can, and it's actually kind of addicting to use.
I really like mine. It's really easy to just go personal business, personal business, personal business. I use it all
you just
the time.
swipe on there after when you have your phone with you and you drive somewhere. It uses GPS to kind of log it in there.
Yep. So when I go on-site client visits, you know, business, and then everything else is just personal.
Yep.
Yep.
So here, this is another one from a member of the group. I am asked all the time if I want to donate to local causes like silent auctions, like, you know, somebody's diagnosed with cancer, so the community gets together and has a silent auction, or cheerleaders do, or something. I usually decorate a basket with products from the salon, or I give a gift certificate for services. Can I deduct the cost of the product or the amount of the gift certificate?
Well, the gift certificate is really going to be the cost to provide that service. So that one's a little bit
Like the
harder to.
products?
I beg your pardon?
So like the products that are used?
The products, yes. So let's say, you know, you're going to assign this to Tiffany, who makes $15 an hour. She's going to be the person that's going to redeem this or work this gift certificate when it comes in, right? You pay her $15 an hour. It's good for an hour and a half worth of hair, a cut, color, style. So it's going to be, you know, whatever the cost of the product is, plus the cost of your staff to take care of, you know, whatever service that you've donated. The products is much more straightforward. It's just your cost.
Okay.
Just write that off as a donation.
Not like what you would sell it for retail.
Right. It has to be cost, not retail.
Okay. So this is the question that I know that a lot of people were really interested in, and we got a lot of comments about it. So what are some tax deductions that are often missed or not thought of? And so I actually had came up with some that I've come across that in my experience. A lot of people don't think about memberships or subscriptions, like a subscription to magazines. Subscription, if you have a membership to the PBA. The Sovereign Stylist also now has a subscription for our website for education and stuff like that. Those are types of things that you can are business related things that you can write off.
Right.
Shear sharpening is another thing that people forget about. Your actual cosmetology or salon license, the licenses that you have to get.
Yep.
And then another one that my CPA told me about that I didn't think of is that I ordered a lot of supplies from Amazon for my salon. So my Amazon subscription was also a write-off.
Yeah, I mean, if you do enough for your business, you can write off things like that. Amazon does also have a business subscription.
Yes.
It's a little bit easier to sell that one to the IRS. But again, we're talking scope. I mean, the IRS isn't going to care about $100 a year write-off if you're making $50,000 a year. It's just not going to hit their radar. So you really, I mean, while my caveat is always, you know, do the best you can and be as honest as you can about what you're deducting and what you're not, and get advice from a CPA who's going to be able to say, yeah, okay, the IRS isn't going to care about that, or, you know, this is kind of pushing it. Make sure you have a good one always. And then, yeah, for sure. All of those things are deductible, as well as the continuing education. If you're paying for webinars, if you're paying to learn how to do different hairstyles, if you're learning a new technique, all of those things are deductions if you're a independent contractor / business owner. So you want to make sure that anything that you're doing or paying for that is promoting your business and helping you make money is a tax deduction. And you really want to make sure that you get all of them as much as you can.
Yeah, so that's all that we really kind of have for you guys today. I'll put a link in the comments to our webpage that actually has a list of deductions that you'll want to remember for this tax season. Thank you to Rose for your time and your knowledge.
Thanks for having me.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, and then also check out the sovereignstylist.org for more information on our membership subscription, which is a tax write-off. And thanks for joining us, and remember to stand tall.
Have a good day.